Do you ever feel like we are living in a culture that exhorts you to take what you can get at any cost because you deserve it to be happy? I wonder if that's really the best approach to your long-term financial goals. I wonder how you would best steward your treasure or time or talents if I were to ask you about it and we had that discussion. I've wondered if I use my time and talent or treasures to benefit others or just really to benefit myself, because we can be content to just look out for you or what you want. And all these kind of questions about financial goals and how we spend treasure and time and talents are just real questions and struggles that Christian women are facing today. How do we handle finances? How do we steward our time or all the different things that involve busyness in life? It may be a matter of perspective. In this episode, I offer 3 easy ideas for jumpstarting your giving habits to combat our default of taking and keeping, even hoarding. Perhaps we need to adopt a shift in our mindset based on biblical principles of how a faithful manager cares for what God has given to them on loan. Perhaps by the end of this episode, the teaching of Acts 20, verse 35, that it is better to give than receive, will better resonate with both of us. So if I were to ask you, how do you navigate your biblical stewardship trek? I wonder how you would answer that. I think we think about big ideas on what we would do. If I just had all of this money, or if I just had all of this time, or if I just had this ability to take care of this, I would do so much more. But beginning by starting small with practicing giving really is what makes a difference to think long-term for financial goals. And this includes evaluating your current spending habits as it concerns your time and your treasure. But friend, if you were granted an extra 5 seconds or 5 minutes or $5, I wonder how you would choose to spend it. Because such small amounts may seem insignificant, yet we can get stingy about even a little bit of time or a little bit of money, especially with our busyness of accomplishing tasks or paying off financial burdens. However, 5 minutes or $5 has the potential to make a big difference to another person in need of just 5. I love what it says in Luke 16, verse 10. The Bible explains, whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. Whoever is unrighteous in very little is also unrighteous in much. So having more time or extra money doesn't necessarily make us a better steward. In fact, it often exposes our struggle with generosity in managing our stuff. But what if we did have a different perspective? What if we just took 5 to give? And you might be saying, give what? Well, perhaps just sharing something as simple as 5 seconds of thoughtfulness or 5 minutes of thankfulness or $5 of helpfulness. To give that which is valuable to most people, for example, a short amount of your time or a small amount of money, and use such tangible treasures to assist another, really speaks volumes to one who may need just a little reminder that someone still cares for them. A genuine desire to graciously give just 5 to enrich a person's day is purely an extension of God's grace He has faithfully given to us, especially in our time of need. I remember quite a few years ago when we actually had to evacuate for a hurricane. And we were in a position where fuel was running very, very thin. And we were kind of panicking. My husband and I had our boys in the back, and we were up in a place where we knew no one. And then all of a sudden, we're waiting in a huge long line for fuel. And we're just praying that God would provide for that one little bit of moment that we needed that. The next thing we know, there's a stranger that is pulled up to the gas tank. They've already been turning people away because they've run out of fuel. And he just motions us to get in front of him in order to get fuel before we ever left. We never knew his name. We don't know where he came from. We don't even know if he got fuel after us. but he gave us a spot just so we can get that fuel. And that's was such a tangible way that I thought this stranger gave us so much. And it just took a few minutes, but it meant so much to us. It was a way that he blessed us. In fact, in 1 Peter 4:10 and 11, it teaches us that just as each one has received a gift, we use it to serve others as good stewards of the varied grace of God. If anyone serves, let it be from the strength God provides, so that God may be glorified through Jesus Christ in everything. That gentleman, that stranger, was an answer to our prayer, and we glorified Jesus through that. See, my 5 seconds or your 5 minutes, another's $5, still all belong to the Lord, provided as gifts to each one of us to, yes, enjoy with gratitude. We should, but also to serve others for the glory of God. And the Lord can provide the strength and the desire and the awareness to share a quick but thoughtful gesture, a brief but timely thankful word, or an inexpensive but helpful contribution. So what are some simple ways that you can take just 5 to give to another in need? Well, I want to offer 3 ideas to jumpstart your giving habits, since it really is the little things that can count. First, taking just 5 seconds to give can entail presenting a smile with a spoken hello on a friendly wave, or kindly hold open a door for a person to enter or exit a building, or patiently allow another car to merge in front of you on the road without getting ticked off at them, or pick something up off the floor that another has dropped to give to them, or offer your seat on the bus to another who is standing. Well, what about, secondly, just taking 5 minutes to give? What can that include? Well, that can include providing an encouraging word to your family member when they come home from work, or praying over your child before they depart for school, or perhaps lending a hand in bringing your neighbor's trash bin from the curbside to their house. Maybe offering to walk a coworker to their car when it's raining to shield them with your umbrella. But thirdly, just taking $5 to give could involve purchasing a cup of coffee for the person behind you in the morning drive-through lane, or donating to a youth organization, just sitting outside the grocery store trying to raise funds. What about providing a contribution to your church's benevolence fund to help someone else in need? Or even buying some goods for the person in front of you at the Dollar Tree store who is short on cash. So, friend, it's your turn. Go on, you can do it. Just take 5 to give. What would you do with 5 minutes or $5? How would you steward that time? How would you steward that treasure? It doesn't take much to make a big difference for another person on an ordinary day. And who knows, your act of grace may be what spurs someone else to just take 5 to give and jumpstart their habit of giving as a faithful steward of the gifts God has given them. If you were encouraged in your faith journey by this message, please click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my upcoming video as we think biblically about struggles that Christian women are facing today.